Not Nerd Podcast, episode 247, Uda Space.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello to you, my friend. As always, it is good to hear and see your smiling face today.
Yes, we've got plenty of technology stuff to talk about, and let's just get right into it. Why don't we?
Okay,
well, follow up. So the Epic Fortnite Apple battle continues, and Epic has confirmed that their new season won't be on iPhone, iPad, or Mac. And I believe I saw this weekend that Apple has actually revoked their developer certificate. They've got this gaming engine, and that's got a separate certificate, so people were worried about that. That's going to be okay. But Dave, this does not affect your Fortnite playing, I believe, because you do on a Mac, you actually play it through Windows and then you play it through the Nintendo Switch. Is that correct?
Yes, well, it has affected me in the effect that I have been using my iPad and my Microsoft Xbox One controller as kind of one of my main ways to play the game.
Yes.
The iPad has a high resolution. It's got a solid 60 frames per second frame rate. And it's just a good experience. Now, the Nintendo Switch is available to me as well, and it is portable like my iPad, but it doesn't have as high resolution of textures, and the frame rate is cut by half. It's only 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
And so my iPad oftentimes has a better experience than even the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And then on my Mac as well, I like to play there because I've got this big 27-inch monitor. But since it doesn't work on the Mac, I'm kind of out of luck there. So I went through this whole saga of trying to download it on my phone to see what would happen, and on my iPad, and then I tried to download it on my Mac just to see what would happen, and it doesn't really work. So the only way I can really play it is through the PC side of my computer. I boot into Windows, downloaded it there, and finally got it to work. But it was like a couple-hour process just to go through trying all the different avenues just to see what would happen. And on iOS and Mac, you can still play last season's game, but you can't take advantage of what they call the Battle Pass, which allows you to kind of level up by winning games and finding various things throughout the map and doing little side quests. That whole element is gone. It is just purely player versus player, 100 on 100, last man standing. And all you really get by playing is the pleasure of getting first place, but there's nothing else that goes along with that. So in a sense, you can still kind of play on your iOS and Mac, but it's last season's content. You can't take advantage of the new season's characters. It's all Marvel this time. You've got you've got Thor, and you've got Iron Man, and you've got all these other characters who have come in to help stop Galactus from destroying the world of Fortnite. So those type of things you can't take advantage of on the Mac and iOS now. And I'm sure there's a lot of kids out there who are disappointed because all they have is their iOS device to play on.
Yeah.
But Apple's sticking to their guns, and so is Epic, and neither one's backing down, so we'll see where the cards fall. Yes,
it seems like both sides are digging into the sand, so we'll see who caves in first, because it impacts their bottom line more, and it's unfortunate that the consumer loses out, as usually happens on these things, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that's it.
Trademark that before we publish this podcast. That's going to be huge. Well, Zoom, everybody's starting back up school. A lot of school is being done remotely, and Zoom had a big outage this last week. It looks like their servers got overloaded, which you would think they would have a better handle on, but there must have been a pretty big surge this last week, and they were able to get it figured out, and they're working on better stability there. But a lot of people are counting on Zoom, and a lot of schools and all of this stuff, so hopefully they can keep things running so that in our already crazy world these days that at least we can count on Zoom to be there for us.
And one of the funny things I saw about the article is they call it Zoom went down and schools got a digital snow day. I thought that was a great way to describe that. And I wonder in the future if they're going to describe these as, oh, we got a snow day today because Zoom is down, even though it's like,
Yes, I did see, I believe it was on Twitter, a parent lamenting how his child was very upset that they would never have a snow day again because if school is remote, there's no reason to cancel it. So.
Well, and I've been saying for years because we inevitably
Yeah.
have a snow day here in Sherwood, Oregon. There's some higher elevations here, and if one kid can't go to school, they cancel it for everybody, which is strange. I grew up in an environment where you risk life and limb and four-wheel drive equipment to get into school because the
Yeah.
parents didn't want to deal with the kids. But that's besides the point. But with the technology, I'm always like, why can't those kids who are stuck at home just do an
Yes.
electronic, like send them the PDF of the course or whatever? You don't have to cancel school, but it's a crazy world we live in, and I'm not in charge of the education system.
No, which is probably for the best. And speaking of education and remote learning, we talked about some of these way back in March where, when everything first was happening and schools were being closed, different educational resources, but you found a new one. And I took a look through it. There's several things that we've mentioned over the years on the podcast, but it's freelearninglist.org. The Internet's Best Education Resources, and it's an initiative of schoolofthought.org. But they just have a bunch of different sections, YouTube channels, and they have a scoring system, podcasts, courses, effective thinking, subreddits, general languages. So you can go through there. If there's something you're looking to learn, or an area, you can go here. Goodreads, which is under the books section, which you brought up a month or so ago. But yeah, some really good resources, kind of one spot where you can find all of this stuff. And there is just so much stuff out there, whether it's free or paid, where you can really learn a lot. And as an adult or a child or anywhere in between, you can go out there and learn what you want to.
Never before in history has there been so much free education available to all of mankind through the internet. It is a wonderful time to be alive, and a wonderful time if you're a learner, and all of us really should be, to take advantage of all of this content that's out there. It's almost overwhelming, but any topic you could ever want to learn is basically available at your fingertips for free or very low cost. So there's no excuse. You're without excuse. Get out there and learn better.
Yes. Also, there's no excuse for not listening to Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Yes, we talk about our web browsers all the time. I just had a conversation with a friend minutes ago about how Chrome can be very detrimental to your web browsing experience by using up all your battery, all your computer's resources. It spins your fans up because of memory management and various things. But even though we like to hate on Chrome for being a resource hog, there are so many great things about Chrome as well.
Yes.
One of those is its ability to use extensions, and the extension availability for Chrome is far and wide. I think maybe with the exception of Firefox, there's no other browser known to mankind that has as many useful extensions as Chrome. It's its own environment. And if you use a Chromebook, the operating system is basically a Chrome web browser. So there's a lot of advantages. So I'd like to go through real quick. I found this article on Mashable that talked about 10 indispensable extensions for Chrome. And I thought we could just talk about them real quick. And if you're not using some of these, you probably should, and they could help your productivity or at least make your surfing experience more enjoyable. The first one on this list is Save to Google Drive. If you're a Chrome user, chances are you have a Gmail account, and your Gmail account comes with a Google Drive account. And the Save to Google Drive is just an extension that you're anywhere on the web, there's a link, there's a file, there's a picture, there's something. You can install this extension, and it gives you the ability to save those items directly to your Google Drive without a lot of huff and puff of, opening Drive and copying and downloading and all this stuff. It just does it kind of magically. Next one on the list is Sorted. This is a kind of a task management. What are the type of boards where you're project management type stuff called Sorted, and it converts. It gives you the ability to move your emails and organize them in various ways. So if you're into like Trello or some of those other task and email management programs, Sorted, SORTD, might be for you. And of course, Honey. When I first heard about Honey, I'm like, is this like something to pick up women and pay them for services? What is this Honey type thing? But no, it's an extension that you can put in your web browser that when you visit various commerce websites that sell different things, Best Buy, Walmart, or whatever, it tells you what deals, coupons, and those type of things are available. So let's say you're on Best Buy and you're like, I want to buy this laptop. It'll pop up a little thing that says, hey, here's a discount code, or here's where you can find it cheaper. Regardless of what you're trying to do, Honey is kind of always listening to what you're looking to shop for online and giving you a better experience. I've installed it. I've tried it. People rave about it. Of course, most of the people who rave about it are those who are being sponsored by Honey to talk about it in their podcast. But if you are like one of these coupon clipper type people, check out Honey. It could save you some money in the long run. It's legit. It's not some scammy thing.
Yes.
Download Manager is another one that can help make your download experience much more organized. The next one, number 5, HTTPS everywhere. Websites use encrypted technology now between the web browser and their servers. It's called HTTPS, or at least that's how they describe the protocol. The S stands for security in the HTTP part. And this will force websites that are not HTTPS compliant to be that way so that you can enjoy encryption. If there's a bank out there that does not have HTTPS and you're using it, I recommend switching banks.
Yes.
But for example, you're sending your password back and forth. If it's not encrypted, it could easily be taken by a bad person. So this is a good extension that just forces it. You don't even have to think about it. Next, number 6, man, you go to websites all the time and there's this giant banner that pops up. Hey, because the EU is stupid, we have to put up this banner that says, hey, click here to accept cookies. It's annoying and it's ridiculous. Well, guess what? There's an extension for that. You install this, it just blocks those things. It automatically accepts them. You can say, don't accept, whatever you want your preference to be, you can set it up. And it's called I Don't Care About Cookies. Number 7, they list Dalton color blindness extension. It's a way to shift the colors in your web browser to better accommodate people who have color blindness. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Number 8, speed test. And Nate, please interrupt if you have anything to say about any of these. But speed test, I go there all the time, speedtest.net. I have the app on my phone. I go to speed test app. I test how fast my internet speed is because these days, with everybody working at home, you're like, is the internet down? My Zoom call is all blocky. Is it my internet speed? What's going on? And with speed test, you can do a test and you can point at the other guy and say, it's your internet. I just tested the speed of my internet and it is just fine. But it's a very helpful extension. You can have it built right into your Chrome web browser. And we've talked about number 9 before. The Great Suspender.
Yes.
No, this is not clothing item for old grandpa farmer types. It's not those type of suspenders. This is an extension that will suspend your tabs because, let's face it, all of us have 27 to 50 tabs open at any given time. There's some people, I'm sure, who break the 50 barrier. This will park those tabs and shut them down in the background when you're not using them. And then when you switch to that tab, it'll reawaken them and download the current information again. The benefit is it uses less resources. If Chrome is a big memory management hog and resource hog, the Great Suspender can help mitigate that. And then one of your favorites and a pick of your week, probably more than once or twice in the past, is Grammarly.
Oh.
This is a tool that you install in your Chrome browser. And if you are writing something in Google Docs or Microsoft Word Online or something for your website in WordPress or whatever, this will look at all the words that you were typing and highlight those that are misspelled, which a lot of word processors do, But this will also recommend better ways to write that, like if you need to add hyphens into the word that you're spelling, or if there's an alternative, or if you missed a comma. It looks kind of at the phrase as a whole and can really help you and your typing sound much smarter than you are. So you're typing say you use Gmail in the web browser and you're typing something for the corporation and it's going to go out to all these hundreds of staff people, and you type it along, you're going to want Grammarly in there, because you don't want to type in there when you meant the contraction of they are instead, and you're just going to look like a fool. So Grammarly has saved me dozens and dozens of times from misspellings, from poor grammar. It's an indispensable tool. So Nate, what do you think of these top 10 extensions by Mashable that I found? Who wrote this? This was Alex Perry.
Yeah. Well, Grammarly, the world would be a better place if everybody used Grammarly. You can even use it on iOS. They have an iOS keyboard, so if you're just typing away on Facebook but I hate sending any emails, publishing any text, any of that stuff without running it through Grammarly one way or another. I think it is. If you are not using Grammarly, either you are a grammar master or you don't care, and great suspender like we talked about. But yeah, these are all really good. If there's a problem you have in your web browser, there's probably a good extension. So this is kind of a good starting point to talk through and just think some of those. The sorted one, number 2, I installed that while you were talking about it. I'm going to try it out. But yeah, there's some great extensions. I've used Honey, and a couple of these other ones, but I like that cookie one where it will click the I agree to cookies thing, because I don't care about cookies. Just get me to the dang website.
Right. And the real pro tip here is use Chrome extensions. There is something out there for everybody.
Yeah.
There are ones that make your Facebook experience better. There are ones that protect you against all kinds of harassment and malware out there. Just type it in Google, search for what you're looking for, and chances are somebody's made an extension for it.
Yes, and there works with the Brave. All these work with the Brave browser, and Safari on the Mac has some extensions too. But like you were saying, it's more limited. Edge. I don't know if the new Windows 10 Microsoft Edge browser, since now it's built on the Chromium backend, that if it uses the same extension store either. But yeah, most browsers have some sort of extensions. We like to talk about Chrome and Brave, which is basically the same thing, just a little more secure. But yeah, very good list. So thank you for running us through that.
Sure.
Our takes of the week. This first story is a local story, the famed Powell's Books, which is, I don't know if it's the world's largest bookstore, what claim they hold on that, but their main
they are one
downtown.
Of the largest bookstores for sure.
It is it is a tourist destination when people feel comfortable coming into the city of Portland, but they announced this week that they are no longer going to sell their books on Amazon. So whether it be reselling or having them listed there, just to be part of the Amazon marketplace, they've made the decision. They're really encouraging the, buy and shop local thing with this. And Amazon, I love shopping on Amazon, but I do also realize at the same time that it has an incredible impact on local businesses and even just smaller businesses. They have such a dominant position that they can take a lot of advantages. And, for them, Powell's, to sell their books on Amazon, they have to pay a commission fee of, I believe, 15% to Amazon for every book they sell. So they're kind of taking a stand.
And the margins are already very thin.
Oh, yeah.
So to share those margins with Amazon is more than some companies can bear.
Yeah, and there's a quote from the article that said, "It was hard to give up, sort of like smoking," she said. "We knew we shouldn't be doing it, but, we sort of needed it from a sales perspective to keep going. We couldn't face the possibility of not having that sales channel." They're doing it, and we'll see how that works out for them. And speaking of Amazon dominating the world, they have debuted a new, cheaper Audible subscription. So Audible is the audiobook. It's been around forever, probably about as long as Amazon. They purchased it, where you can subscribe and you get credits to buy audiobooks every month. Well, they're doing a new service, which is cheaper. I believe it's $8 a month as opposed to the 16 for their premium service, but they're going to have thousands and thousands of books available as part of your subscription. And guess what, Dave? They're also adding in exclusive podcasts,
just like
which
everyone
seems to be the yeah, just like, Spotify and trying to compete with Spotify. But I'm going to check into this and see kind of what some of those free books are. I've had an Audible account a long time in the past. I usually check them out for free from the library. I'll wait longer to get an audiobook from the library than paying for the Audible subscription, especially since I listen to so many podcasts. But they've got a bunch of celebrities signed up for doing special shows and podcasts. So one more subscription service to pay for every month.
Yeah, and one of the tricks that these companies are using, and you see it all the time, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, they all do it, Netflix, they create their own content. They advertise, hey, we're going to offer this service that you can subscribe to, and you get all this content. While on the down low, they start creating their own content. So they eventually grow that catalog and then cut out the third parties. And we know that the third parties are all going to their own services anyway, CBS, ABC, NBC, Disney, all of the content that was produced in the past by third parties are now going into their own channels. And so I can see Amazon kind of doing this. We're going to bring in our own actors. We're going to publish our own books. We're going to have our own publishing company. That way, Penguin and Zondervan and all these other book publishers, they won't have to get their content and do deals with them anymore in the future. It'll just be their own stuff. And one thing I see here, they're going to have Jesse Eisenberg. Like, I don't want to hear that guy talk on a book. I mean, that's not a voice that I want to hear, but but maybe there will be some good content regardless.
As we talk about often, there is plenty of content out there. It's just which subscriptions are you going to go for when, and what's going to be most valuable to you. And besides the new Audible service, Amazon also announced this week their Halo Fitness Band. Did you get a chance to check this out, Dave?
I didn't, but in an unrelated note, tomorrow evening I should be playing Halo 1 with a bunch of friends online. So hopefully that works out for me. So, but not to be confused with the video game on Microsoft platforms, the Amazon Halo is a fitness band that goes around your wrist. So I did not hear much about this, but it looks to be very similar to Wise's new smart band that they came out with and some of the entry-level Fitbit type products. So what's your take on this?
Yes, it's got a couple of interesting features. So it pairs with an app on your phone, and it is a very simple band, no display. I think there's an LED light to let you know that it's on, basically.
Yeah, the battery's charged.
Yes, but the battery does last about a week, so it'll cost $100 and then $4 a month for the service. Now, one of the things they have is you use the camera on your phone to create a 3D scan for body fat analysis. So it'll use AI and all the terms. So you take pictures of each direction of your body, and then it calculates what it thinks your body fat is. And then it also has a microphone in it, so it is listening for the emotion in your voice so that it can track what your mood is throughout the day based on your voice patterns. So
I do not want this. I do not want this. On the website, they're showing pictures of a woman in one slide and a man standing in front of their camera, basically in their underwear, and letting it take pictures of you in your underwear. And I'm having flashbacks from the Wii Fit, where you stand on the scale and it says overweight, overweight, and you're just like, shut up! I know, stop shaming me.
Yes.
So I don't think I want this, especially paying $100. If they give this to me for free, I might try it. But I'm not going to pay $100 to have somebody take incriminating photos of me.
Yes. So it's a interesting divergence from kind of your typical activity devices wrist worn. Now, one of the big things obviously that comes up first is data privacy. It is not going to be tied directly to your Amazon account. You have to have the distinct account from this, so you're not going to be getting they're not going to show your 3D model with an Amazon Basics t-shirt. Hey, would you be interested in this? Although that might come down the road.
Or hey, here's a bunch of vitamins and weight loss supplements you can buy on Amazon.
Yeah, so
that's crazy. This is new to me. I had not heard this, but
yeah,
I don't want it.
I will see what the reviews are, but it's interesting on the voice side that it's going to try to analyze your voice for your tone to see, how you're doing throughout the day. Some days it would probably automatically call a psychiatrist if it was listening to me all the time.
Well, this reminds me of the Facebook product where they wanted to put a camera in your closet so that you can put on clothes and it could recommend things to you. It's like, I don't think I want you in my bedroom.
Yes, yeah. And it also does some activity stuff, and it says it does it on a weekly basis. So, if you have days where you don't exercise, you don't feel like you didn't fill your rings, and some sleep stuff. But I don't recommend. If you've got an iPhone, get an Apple Watch. If you've got an Android, get an iPhone, then get an Apple Watch. And you're going to be much better off than this device. Amazon has had plenty of devices that were not successful, and I do not think this will be. It'll get reviews from all the tech people because they'll get a free one, and then you have to pay the $4 a month. So I think they have like some training and fitness classes in it that you could watch in the app on your phone. But still, if somebody gets one, let us know how it works. We've also talked several times about Eufy. They're one of our technology, your scale. You have the one their Bluetooth scale, and they do a lot of home automation devices and everything. Well, they've launched a new Kickstarter for their Smart Drop, which is a secure delivery box that you could put on your porch or wherever you receive deliveries, and they are saying that it'll be a safe way to avoid the porch pirates.
Yeah, it looks to be about the size of a small safe or maybe a larger paper shredder. And you just set it outside of your door, and there's some technology that allows the delivery person to unlock it, put the package in, and lock it back up. I think it's a great idea. Your porch is not very big. This would take up a large portion of your porch. Man, I can't avoid watching videos on Reddit or wherever of people getting their stuff stolen from their porches because everybody's got these Ring cameras or they've got Wise cams everywhere. And it feels like we're powerless to do anything about it. We can submit the videos to the police and they're like, oh, that's too bad.
Cool. Yeah. And this one, it does look like on Kickstarter right now, it's $200. Now, the thing I almost thought about not even talking about today because it said is not scheduled to be delivered to customers until the third quarter of 2021.
Yikes.
So that would be a year from now. So you can back it on Kickstarter. It'll probably, the price usually goes up after it's off Kickstarter, but you're going to have to wait a year for this thing to show up. So you're going to have a lot of packages. If you're someone who has a lot of packages stolen, that is a long time to wait. So maybe for Christmas, by the Christmas season next year, you can protect your packages. But it is we've talked about some of the different solutions that people are trying to come up with this. This does have a camera in it too, so it kind of acts as your security camera or video doorbell type of a thing. You can get notifications. But if that is a big problem for you, maybe this is something you want to check out on Kickstarter and back it at your own risk, because we trust Eufy, the company, but as we know, Kickstarter can be a gamble on whether you'll ever receive the product.
Yes, a very mixed bag, so to speak.
Yes. Our security and privacy story of the week, we were just kind of talking about this same thing with all these ransomware attacks where, man, we just need to have this task force that can take care of it. Well, this is one that was prevented. The Tesla Gigafactory in Nevada. Apparently, there was a Russian ransomware expert that befriended a Russian-speaking employee at the Tesla factory and was trying to offer $1 million for that person to introduce malware and ransomware into their system. Which is pretty crazy. And so this guy kept playing along with it, but notified Tesla, and they got the FBI involved. So, he was wearing the wire and sharing text messages. So they tried to pursue through it, and it looks like they were able to arrest them or the person involved with this. But sounds like they were some expert ransomware infectors. Is that what we call them?
And ransomware distributors. We want to elevate their class a little bit.
Yeah, so in reading into it a little more, it looks like, possibly they were offering this guy $1 million, and then they would ransom Elon Musk and Tesla for several $1 million.
Probably for $1 billion.
Yes, but yeah, that's so this is a story with a happy ending. Somebody was arrested, and the ransomware didn't occur. So it's always good to hear that, and hopefully more of that continues to happen. But I mean, there's a lot of employees that if you offer them $1 million, they're going to think long and hard about, well, how much does my company really like me? And I did see something in the comments about, well, this person's stock options were probably worth more than $1 million with the way Tesla's stock's been going.
That's probably true.
Yes. Our bonus odd take of the week. So, Dave, we've talked a lot about NASA and they've been doing the stuff with SpaceX. Speaking of Tesla,
NASA and the space stuff they do.
The space stuff, whatever they do, pretending to land on the moon and all of that good stuff. But Dave, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say there's probably not a chance that you or I are going to get a chance to travel into space. Maybe it'll happen in our lifetime. Maybe we will get chosen in a lottery to go on and do some space travel. But I've got a product for you.
Okay.
The new cologne.
What?
Or perfume, Eau de Space. There is a Kickstarter campaign, and I believe it's ended by now. I've been sitting on this for a while, but over a decade ago, NASA chemists developed a scent that mimics the smell of space in order to give astronauts a whiff of the cosmos before they left Earth's atmosphere. Now the company Eau de Space has gotten its hand on that scent, and you can order a bottle or 10 through its Kickstarter. So, like I said, this was an older article that I had come back across, and they got 614,000 out of their $2,000 goal, 13,000 backers. So it looks like they did okay with this.
Space. I've heard astronaut Chris Hadfield talk about space and what it smells like and all that type of stuff. And he describes it as kind of like burnt rocks. It's not a wonderful smell. Maybe I'm just trying to think. Here's how I imagine it. If you've ever had like a sledgehammer and you've broken a rock with it or hit a piece of cement, and it like the friction causes it to kind of heat up and you get this smell of like burnt rock and metal. That's what I imagine it smells like.
Yes.
Maybe after you fire a gun, maybe some gunpowdery smell, something like that. So I'm very interested in what this perfume smells like.
It looks pretty reasonably priced. So maybe your birthday just passed, but maybe for Christmas you'll have a bottle of Eau de Space for you.
Oh, here it is. Others, let's see. In the video, blah, 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 it smells strong and unique, unlike anything this person has ever smelled on Earth. According to Eau de Space, others have described the smell as seared steak, raspberries, and rum, smoky and bitter. So very, very interesting.
Yes, yeah. So it looks like it's the estimated shipping is December 2020. So this might, if they can get all their Kickstarter and Indiegogo backers taken care of, maybe they'll make it available to the public. So maybe for Christmas,
$30 to smell space.
Yeah, you will start smelling like space. But that's a nice, fun one there that I came across and thought that you would enjoy.
I do enjoy it.
And you know what everybody enjoys? Our picks of the week.
This pick of the week, you can thank our intrepid listener, Tyler, who went around and found this. He sent me some videos the other day, and there were, funny little animated GIFs that you might expect. Iron Man and his mask popping up, or I don't know, Thor flying around, or some other thing. The only difference was it was Tyler's face on these
Oh,
Marvel superheroes and other type of celebrities. I'm thinking, did he download some type of a deep fake type application on
yeah.
his computer and have it churn for hours and hours creating these videos? No, you can do it yourself on your cell phone with the Reface app. I downloaded it just yesterday and it is free to try with, of course, subscriptions to
Oh,
unlock
yeah.
stuff and time limits where you have to let them expire before you can do another one or whatever. They try to make it as painful as possible so that you can subscribe to the app to get rid of all the ads and all the restrictions. But if you just download it and try it, it is a blast. I put my face on Jason Momoa, who was Aquaman,
Yes.
and I thought it looked rather convincing. And I told my wife and Tyler that it was probably because our body shapes are very
Yeah, I
similar.
was going to say your physiques are nearly identical.
Yeah, and so it really worked. On some of the other ones, the Britney Spears, I tried her.
Yes.
It didn't match as well, although
Huh.
comical. I think Jason Momoa and me are closer
Yes,
than me and
yes.
Britney. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. You can get it for both Android and iPhone, iOS. Why not? All I got to say is why not download it and try it and amuse yourself for a few minutes.
Very nice. Well, my pick of the week is technically a repick back on episode 96, the whole enchilada. This was my pick of the week, but now has a new feature which it was needed in my life. I talked about how my automatic mileage tracking device stopped working. They just shut down, and I got my refund. I did. They sent me the virtual Visa credit card thing for the full price of the device, but I still needed something to track my miles. I didn't really want to buy another device. Well, just about the same time, and maybe because of this, the accounting software I use for my business, FreshBooks, I'll have a link in the show notes, which is great for running all the stuff for my business, doing proposals and invoices and time tracking and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they have mileage tracking, so just with the app on your phone, it'll track all of your drives, and then you just go in there and it pulls up your most recent one, and you swipe left for personal and right for business, and then all of your mileage is just been tracked. And looking at it, I've been doing some testing with it. It seems definitely good enough. It might not be the most accurate thing, but to give me a good idea of my business travel and be able to track the mileage. Plus, then it puts it right into my accounting software. So if I needed to use it in there, it's all in the same space. So there's many of these apps. I had tried a couple in the past. If you need some accounting software for a business you're running or anything, FreshBooks is really great. And now with the phone app, you can do all your mileage tracking as well. So
that's brilliant. The hardware thing is great and it had more features.
yes.
But let's be honest, just like your camera, just like your GPS, just like anything, you're carrying a computer in your pocket.
Yeah.
So could maybe your phone do the same thing? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
You just needed some software to accomplish this. And so I think in many ways it's probably superior to the automatic device because let's say you get a rental car or let's say you're using a spouse's car or you're riding with a friend to
exactly.
a business meeting. The automatic's not going to track that anyway, unless you carry it around with you and, hey, excuse me, friend that I'm riding with. Can I plug this into your port? Sorry.
Yes.
So anyway, I think this has many advantages, especially since you can just plug it right into your accounting software. That's living in the future, my friend.
We are living in the future. So check out FreshBooks or I think another one that I had tried in the past was MileIQ, which isn't necessarily with accounting software. If you don't need a business, you just need to track mileage or trips. You can do it with that. Our Ramazon purchase of the week this week. We love it when you guys shop through our Amazon links through amazon.notner.com. I was just talking to my brother-in-law and he was making sure that he was using links and everything. Well, I was looking through the anonymous reports once again, and this ties into our episode, I believe 2 weeks ago, the camping tech, where we covered a bunch of stuff. And this is the pop-up privacy tent, instant portable outdoor shower tent, camp toilet, changing room, rain shelter with window for camping and beach, easy setup, foldable with carry bag, lightweight and sturdy.
When was this purchase made?
I do not know that. I don't even know if it gives me that information. Was this you, Dave?
It was not me, but on a recent camping trip,
Yes.
Superfan Chris and Superfan Carolyn had nearly identical to your description, one of these devices. So I
Yes.
wonder if maybe it was them who purchased it. I'm not sure.
Yes. Well, it is light green. I'll send you a picture of it here, and then maybe you can confirm. But it folds up very nicely, and what it is just kind of instead of a horizontally sprawling tent, it is a tent that looks to be maybe about 6 feet tall, which is one of my problems with camping in a tent. Is I am a taller fella, and standing up in a tent usually is not permissible, depending on the tent you have. But this is a great little device, or like we were talking about with the solar shower. This is a great little device if you need. I have gone camping in the past where there were not bathroom facilities, so you've got the Home Depot bucket with the toilet seat on top, and this gives you a little privacy instead of trying to squeeze behind a tree.
Yeah.
It's got a hanging rope so you can hang your clothes in there. All the
Wow.
good stuff.
You could take this to the beach and change into your swimsuit if you didn't want
Yes.
to do it there before you got there. No, this is very similar to what I witnessed at the campground. So I'm guessing it was them, but who knows? It could have been
Yeah.
anybody.
Yes. Yeah. So, Dave, what would you pay for something like this, since you're
Ooh.
such a camping expert, as we
Man.
discussed?
I don't know about this. This thing, oof. I haven't even thought about what this thing would cost. I'm going to say this thing is about, I'm going to say,
Well, hold on. Before you
Okay.
go with that, let's say it does have 4 stars on 924 ratings. There is a coupon for 10% off, but it does look, looking around, this looks to be more of a high quality than many options. So this looks to be more of a premier solution instead of trying to find the cheapest thing on Amazon. I will just put that out there.
okay, well, I'm just thinking more of the material. It's
Yeah.
like tent material with the like plastic band that you can twist up and it auto
Yeah.
pops out. I'm going to say $50 is what this thing costs.
Well, you're pretty close. It is currently $63.97, but there's one of those little coupon boxes for 10% off.
Okay.
So
Okay.
between $50 and $60, and yeah, it's very nice. Looking at the related products, there's some that are like there.
$10.
There's one that's $28, the Gigatent portable pop-up. It has a half-star rating on 832 ratings. But then there's another one that's $80 that has half star on 1,900 ratings. Another one that's $21, 1 star on 4,000 ratings. 4,000 people bought it, and it has a 1-star rating.
Yeah. So
That is just crazy.
whoever purchased this looked at the Amazon star ratings and looked at the price and said, "This is the one to get," because it had high star ratings.
Now, Dave, I'm realizing something in real time here that I've noticed, and I can't figure out what it is on Amazon. I'm looking at these other products, and when I actually hover on it, they are all very high rated, 4.5. But when on my view here, it shows as a half star or 1 star. Now, I think this might be related to the the camel or the fake spot, the fake spot reviews. I don't know if they're injecting their own reviews or if some other Chrome extension that I have is changing what I see there, but what I see is literally different than what the actual ratings are. So all that stuff I said about those horrible reviews, they are actually 4 stars or higher. It's just showing up that way. So I need to turn off some of those extensions and see what is
Interesting.
causing that, because that would definitely throw me off if I was looking at this. Like you're saying, I'm going to look at the 4-star one and say, hey, I'm going to pay a lot for that. And these other ones are only half-star. There's no way I'm buying those things. But that is not the case. So I have something happening in my Brave browser that is giving me a false impression of what the actual reviews are.
Wow,
Which is interesting.
that's interesting. Maybe we stumbled onto something. Maybe Amazon has a lot of stock and quantity of a particular
Yes.
item, and they're switching up
Faking
the
this
reviews
out.
so that they can get people to buy the one that they have too much stock on. Who knows? Who knows
Yeah.
what the answer is? But with one of these things, I mean, I don't think you're going to go wrong at around the $50 range. They do what they're advertised to do, and the materials are going to be fine and last. You know,
Yeah.
I would probably advise against spending less than $20 on one of these things because it's just going to fall apart. Or
Yeah.
here's the big thing that usually happens on the box or the picture. It shows, a full height person can stand in it,
Yes.
and you get it home and it's made for children or something like
Yes.
that. You can get your toe in there.
Yeah. For ages up to 4 years old or people 37 inches or shorter.
For hobbits.
So I will dig into that, and I will report on next week's episode and figure out what is causing that little glitch, because I had noticed it on some other things and just kind of found what I was looking for and didn't look into it further. So come back next week for more on that topic.
Yeah, don't let the week go by without rushing back to hear the conclusion of what's going on.
Exactly. Well, with that, we are going to wrap up this episode. Hopefully you learned something new, maybe have a new app to try out, go do some face swapping or mileage tracking, whatever suits your fancy, whatever brings joy to your life, and get out there and tech better. Is your hard drive full? Is that what's causing slow computer and...
Nathan. I'm looking for you, but I'm almost offended. I have 265.6 gigabytes available.
Yes, and there's also no excuse for Dave's pro tip of the week. No, let me do that again.